All right, welcome to A Friday Reads. We'll talk about what I read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next. I finished 3 things, which was good because one of them I truly, desperately needed off the TBR. I'm in the middle of 2 and I'm excited to get to something because one of my insomnia nights, I started reading a book and I got very excited to read it, which meant I shouldn't read it while I can't sleep at night, which is a bummer, but worse problems, I suppose. I'm doing okay today. My Discord got to hear me beg for sleeping tips because I had a bad week. I had a good night last night. I did use a sleeping aid, but I needed to break up the insomnia somehow because I was truly getting in my head. I just hate that I'm one of those people where it's I have very few options because I do a lot of good sleep hygiene and I don't drink caffeine. So when I get into my insomnia bouts, it's truly me and my fault because it's the little brain in the back of your head. But we'll get there. I mean, I know I will get out of it. And right now, had 8 hours of sleep, so I'm feeling like I can take over the world. It's wild. So first thing I finished, I won't ramble on about it too much, is Stone of Farewell. There will be a live show the second weekend in August, I believe. I think August 10th is the date we've decided on. I do feel the ending, and this is the same with the ending of the first book, would have been so much better for me if the book was 100 pages shorter. And no one can tell me that it couldn't have been 100 pages shorter. It could have been. It could have been. There were so many awesome things that happened, but I was so fatigued. And I really wasn't trying to burn myself out. I only read it 3 days a week for a few weeks, and if I had forced myself to read it faster, I would have been really burnt out. And I like long books. It's just, I think part of it, I have more characters to root for in this book, but I still don't love anybody. And I don't love the world. And this book, I think there was some thematic stuff that was kind of interesting in the first book. There's nothing really here. This is just kind of a political, fantastical time. It's a good escapism fantasy in terms of if you like political, high epic fantasy with a bunch of characters in different parts of the world. I think that's cool. But it's just, for me, with that type of story, I need to be engaged with the characters really deeply or the world, and I'm just very fine. So it was a good book. Probably objectively a 4-star, but I'm probably giving it a 3 to 3.5 because I wasn't that interested. And I almost forgot I read it this week. I finally finished it and I forgot, which isn't amazing. What is very funny to me is I'm not buddy reading this with my friend Roger, but he's also in the live shows. And he told me all the stuff that I had to look forward to in this book. And I think his brain doesn't remember this book. And he agrees. He's like, wow, how did I forget all this stuff? Because I don't think the stuff he was talking about is really what I wanted in this book, which is fine. It was okay. It was fine. A thing that disappointed me was The Butcher of the Forest by Premium Mohammed. I talked about this briefly in my video earlier this week where I basically go through my entire Hugo ballot, if you want to see that, and if you just want a long video to just, I don't know, have a good time with. Unfortunately, my last 2 Tuesday videos were very long, and I get it. That's just not what people really want from me. But if you have a chance, they're very nice videos, I feel. They're just long, and I don't really know what to cut from it, so. But this was in novella, and I picked it up to read because it's been on every novella list from last year. Every short list has this book. Every single one of them. And I love dark forest books. I love folk tale horror books. This really should have worked for me, and it didn't. And I don't know why. I think it's a writing style problem. I think. Unsure. It just didn't work well. I couldn't become immersed in it. It took me forever to read. It's really not that long. The second half was stronger than the first half. I don't know. I truly just couldn't get myself sunk into this. I think maybe I needed a little more thematic connection. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Maybe it's as simple as that, which is a bummer. But it's definitely a very popular novella from last year. The one that I adored got number 1 on my ranking. The Practice, the Horizon, and the Chain. Oh, I really loved this. This was so good. I need to read more Sofia Samatar. I know there was a world fantasy book that I think she won that I need to get to. This was, the lyrical prose style worked really well for my brain, but it does have a style, so that might not work for everybody. I loved the parts and trying to understand what each of these meant. I still don't know if I really know, but I got enough of a vibe. The vibe is good. The vibe is good. It's a great critique of academia, what it can do, what it can't do. It's going to be very on the nose about how stratified this culture is. But It gave me hope. It was lyrical. It didn't overstay its welcome. It was emotional. If it works for you, it's going to work for you. I think people who like The Vanished Birds need to read this. I don't know if necessarily it's a one-to-one if you like one, you like the other, but I think there's a fair enough overlap that I'm like, if you like The Vanished Birds, you need to try this out. Truly so good. So those are some wins. And, well, at least in terms of I got them done. My audiobook right now, because I finally finished The Stone of Farewell, is The Potency of Ungovernable Impulses, and it's so good, and I love this series, and I hope it gets nominated and wins Best Series next year at the Hugos, because Malka Older is a darling, and I think it deserves it, and I think it'll at least make the short list. I'm loving this. I actually don't know where I am in this book. I'm somewhere in this section. I don't have a lot left. I have like an hour left. I just think that my era right now of detective procedural audiobooks is Verkosigan got me there, and then I was listening to like The Tainted Cup in them, and then this series has gotten me there. I think detective audiobooks is where I thrive in that genre. I don't like reading it with my eyeballs, but when it's in my ears and it's just like the perfect companion for other parts of my day. And I love Masa and Plady. Plady is still insecure. This is an ongoing theme, but it's fine. The academia conversations here are very interesting. So we're on Jupiter, and there's like two kind of schools of thoughts, modernists and classists. And classists are trying to figure out what went wrong on Earth, what happened on Earth, how to recreate Earth, because the goal is to go back to Earth. Whereas modernists are focused on we live on Jupiter, and let's study how we live now. And classists are thought of to be more prestigious than modernists, which is a silly idea. Like, you can feel that when you're reading the book, but I think Plady is coming to terms with that. Plady is a classicist. And a lot of these books is her coming to terms with how comfortable and complacent she is in the world and how messed up it is, while solving random mysteries with Masa, her second chance romance friend partner. Masa is a trip, this book. Whoa. And Masa is also like very neurodivergent, obviously doesn't like know what they're supposed to be doing in social situations, but it also makes them incredibly clever. It's very Sherlock Holmes, very Watson. Plady is Watson. I really love this series. Like, at first, I liked the series, but I'm now falling in love with the series. Because it's, especially, I think, after so much okay that I've read recently, I can trust this so much. And it's so much better for me than her Infomocracy series, which I enjoyed and really appreciated. But I really like the world that's set up here. And I actually find the world very comfortable and cozy, maybe my type of cozy. This is a very cozy series to me. Is it actually cozy? I think someone could argue that. So that's a big win. And then I did start We Are the Crisis. I'm that far. At first I was like, all right, I don't know if I'm in the mood. Let's see, is it going to have the magic like the first book did? I don't know. And then I got to the second part and I'm like, yeah, we're here. The interconnectivity is a puzzle my brain loves. I can totally get if your brain doesn't like the puzzle of remembering who's who and how they're related to what. It speaks to me. Also, I think I know what we're trying to do with this book, and I'm fascinated for where we're going to end up. But in general, so far, my experience with Cadwell Turnbull is trust the process and see where we end up. And that's going well for me. I love how human the characters are, even when we have these larger-than-life situations. I'm also learning a lot about co-ops. Co-ops are a big thing, I think, on Cadwell Turnbull's mind. And so it's definitely a thing I'm noticing more. But I have just all these people with their own issues, and whenever I'm in someone's chapter, I just get so sunk into their history, their present, and it's his character work that I think I love the most about how he writes. I can be in the minutia of their days, and I can also be in the high-stakes moments, and I love being able to go between those interchangeably. Also, can we just talk about how pretty this cover is? Oh my god. The Blackstone production of this series is great. So the goal is to finish these two. What will I read next? Well, let me tell you about a book I'm very excited about, and that's The Red Scholar's Wake. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Yes, I think it's The Red Scholar's Wake. I'm like, what is the last word? So this is Aliette de Bodard. I have the audiobook, and I also have the ebook. And I think there's a lot of Vietnamese-inspired proper nouns. They might also be Chinese proper nouns. I don't know, but a lot of the spellings remind me of Vietnamese proper nouns I've read in other Vietnamese historical fiction books. And we're in space, and we start off the book with our prisoner, one of our main characters, and basically we're told the Red Scholar is dead. And it starts off with her being given a deal with the Mind Ship to become its new wife to save itself. And it's the story's going from there. And I wasn't anticipating the Mind Ship being a character and it to be kind of a marriage of convenience. And the world is like if you like Nine Fox Gambit and how you just get thrown into a world and you're like, I don't know where I am, but it's a very cool, like that opening of a video game tutorial where you're like, where am I? What am I doing? What's the ground rules? I'm feeling that. So I'm feeling cool about the world. I think the narrator, like I feel so bad being like, I love the audiobook because it's Audible exclusive, but I love the audiobook and the narrator is truly bringing life to the characters that I'm really enjoying because we get both the Mind Ship point of view and our main character's point of view. And I think it's just going to be a very interesting time. And it's a pirate ship. It's a pirate ship. So if you're looking for a non-seafaring pirate book for your bingo square, pirates. So yeah, that's probably on deck for my next audio after I finish Moss Unplaguey. So that's very fun. My next physical read, I don't know. I don't know if I have anything I have to read, so maybe I just get to go rogue and do whatever I want. I don't know. I have a romance on deck that I could read. It's one of the first, it's like done and dusted, that contemporary romance I have on my Kindle if I'm feeling it. And I'm also going on a trip soon, but that'll be early August, so that'll mess with me there. Oh, another one I started that I want to eyeball read. So this was one I want to eyeball read because I tried the audiobook while doing some errands while I had anxiety, because cleaning when you have anxiety is at least a productive way to use all that energy if you ever feel like I do on a Sunday. But I started Archangels of Funk on audio, which I do like the audio, but I think it needs to be an immersion read because this is another world where I'm like, where am I? This is feeling what is cyberpunky, like in a fun way, a fun reimagined way. I have no idea what's happening. I have read enough to know that I am like, where are we going? Which just shows the versatility of this author. The other book I read by her felt like classic fantasy, like climate classic fantasy. And this one I'm being reminded of like Blade Runner, but not like the movie, not the book. And I'm just like, what's going on here? But I think that one means I need to be grounded with some visual cues because that can help me ground myself. But maybe with the audio, because the audio was fun too. I really did like the production of the audio. I just felt a little too untethered. So yeah, that might be my next, like when I have eyeball reading time and I can challenge myself because I don't think it's going to, at least initially, flow super smoothly. So that's where I am reading wise. It turned around. It turned around to be quite an exciting time. I'm really excited to get back in my car and read more of this. I'm excited. I think there have been some of the used copies of the first books that I've been eyeing because the publisher sent me this, thanks to her. But I need to get the first two because I also just think they're really pretty covers and books. Oh, look at the yearning. The yearning. Maybe you can't tell, but the yearning. Love it. I'm having so much fun. Anyways, what are you reading, doing, watching? I have no idea what I'm doing. I guess in theory, maybe I should go try to see Fantastic Four, but I'm still just on my Superman high, so I haven't gotten the ticket yet. So there's that. If you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, leave a planet, or more specifically Jupiter if you can find it, and like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.